The psoas muscle is my favorite muscle in the body. It's a very elusive muscle to a lot of people because of its location. It attaches to the transverse processes of lumbar vertebrae 1 through 4, passes down through the pelvis, and then attaches to the lesser trochanter of the femur. It crosses multiple joints. It's one of the few muscles in the body that does cross the upper body and the lower body. And it is the ultimate core muscle when you think about people doing Pilates and strength training, yoga, CrossFit, things like that. Psoas is dramatically infected. The psoas muscle allows you to stand, to sit, to move from sitting to standing. It allows you to tap your toes. It allows you to wiggle your toes, to flex your ankle, your knee, your hip. It's involved in anything that happens in the lower body. Anything that happens below the waist, the psoas is most definitely involved. It is one of the most underappreciated, underloved, undertouched muscles in the body because of its location. You access it through the abdomen. It's under the reproductive organs and under the intestines. And sometimes people get a little intimidated about poking around in a region like that. Psoas is one of the largest muscles in the body. As you know it from the meat market, is the tenderloin muscle, and there's a psoas major and minor and iliacus, and that the iliacus muscle is in the inside of the iliac crest or the ilium of the pelvis. Another muscle that never gets touched, but one that you do not have to touch it very much, very, very specifically. You basically just have to get on it and hang out in order to affect a dramatic change in the body. How comfortable are you going after a psoas? And if you're not currently working the psoas on, if not every one of your patients, at least most of them, why not? Why wouldn't you touch a muscle that could so dramatically affect the overall? Does it intimidate you? It can be very, very intimidating. It can be very daunting. It can be very, very, something you're very insecure about. It's something that was introduced to you in massage school, but unless you had somebody who was a real stickler for it, you probably weren't required to touch it very often, just once or twice to satisfy a check mark on an exam. Well, working the psoas can bring dramatic results, especially to your athletes, to people who sit in front of a computer all day or drive a vehicle all day, or people who stand and move around all day. It's a very, very important muscle. And if you're not currently working it, there's a whole demographic of patients that you're not tapping into. So if psoas intimidates you, you might want to check us out. We have a very, very interesting class called Pardon Me, Is This Your Psoas? And we go very, very deep into it and teach you to get really, really comfortable with the psoas and the iliacus and all that it can potentially bring to your practice and all the relief it can bring to your patients.